Good morning, team judges and participants. We are waiting for a few more minutes so that all the other team members and the judges could join the meeting, and then we shall further on proceed.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning, APS Raiwala.
Ma'am, are we clearly audible?
Yes, you are clearly audible. It is just that you need to adjust your frame so that all the members could come into the frame, into the focus. Kindly adjust your frame.
Okay, ma'am. Sure.
Old Camp Prayagraj.
Jai Hind, ma'am.
Jai Hind.
Are we audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are clearly audible. Kindly adjust your frame also. Thank you. Now both the teams have joined the meeting. Now we are only waiting for one of the judge. Mandvi ma'am. Once she joins the meeting, then we shall continue. and grace take the flight toward the horizon, embrace the light. Greetings to the esteemed judges, participants, respected teacher in charges, and dear spectators. I, Arna Gupta, as your host and moderator, have the honor of welcoming you to the quarterfinals of the Northern Command Inter-APS Ethics Bowl 2025 on behalf of the Secretary of the event, Ms. Ruchi Behel, Principal APS Nagrota. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Shaini Sharma, the Regional President Awwa, Northern Command, for her initiative in organizing the Northern Command Awwa Ethics Bowl 2025. We are starting off with our day 2 of quarterfinals 1, match 2, between the schools of Group B, which were selected through the draw of lots. Therefore, the match is going to be between APS Old Camp Prayagraj and APS Raibada. So, featuring representatives from APS Old Camp Prayagraj and APS Raibada, let's invite each team to introduce themselves individually. Starting with APS Old Camp Prayagraj.
Are we audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're clearly audible.
Jai Hind, everyone. I am Shashwat Gupta from APS Old Can Prayagraj as a researcher number 1. Jai Hind, everyone. I am Abhinav Jaiswal, speaker number 1 from team APS Old Can Prayagraj.
Jai Hind, everyone. This is Shlok Kumar Singh as speaker number 2 from team APS Orkan Prayagraj.
Jai Hind, everyone. This is Yushika, speaker number 3 from APS Old Can Prayagraj.
Jai Hind, everyone. This is Shikha Mishra from APS Old Can Prayagraj as speaker number 4.
Jai Hind, everyone. My name is Tanisha Singh and I am researcher number 2 from APS Old Can Prayagraj.
Come on. All the Old Can Prayagraj, may you surpass your own expectations and achieve more. Next up, it's time for our second team, APS Raiwala, to step forward and introduce yourself.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're clearly audible. You may proceed.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sumit, a researcher from APS Ayawala.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Srishti Gupta, Speaker 1 from APS Raiwala.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shanvi, Speaker 2 from APS Raiwala.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rohit, speaker number 3 from APS Raiwala.
Good morning, everyone. I am Vaishnavi Thakur, speaker 4 from APS Raiwala.
Good morning, everyone. I am Aryan Singh, researcher number 2 from APS Raiwala.
Good luck, Team APS Raiwala. May your hard work and dedication pay off. You cannot look at the competition and say you are going to do it better. You have to look at the competition and say you are going to do it differently. So without further ado, let's commence today's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and beloved participants.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, this is team APS Old Can Prayagraj. Could you please explain that how will the timer be shown on the screen?
That will be reflecting directly on the screen. You will be able to see the timer.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Albert Einstein once said, you have to learn the rules of the game and then you can play better than anyone else. To compete with honesty and honor to ensure a smooth process, here are the rules for the presentation session. The competition is going to be between 2 teams at a time, in which one team is the presenter and the other team is responder. Medium of communication is flexible, either Hindi or English. However, speaking in English is not allowed. 2 case studies have already been shared with both the teams as well as the judges. Once the competition begins, the moderator introduces the case study for the benefit of the audience. Each team will be given 8 minutes to present, including answering the ethical questions put up by the moderator at the end of the case study. The reminder bell will be given after 6 minutes and final bell will be given after 8 minutes to sum up the case. After that, 1 mark will be deducted for every minute exceeding the time limit. The other team will be given 4 minutes to confer and 5 minutes to comment. A bell will be rung at the end of the 5 minutes. The other team is also required to ask a question, maximum of 2 questions to the presenter team. Post their commentary, the presenter team will be given 4 minutes to confer and come back with their answers. And no cross question by the responder team is allowed. The presenter team is also required to answer the question put up by the responder within 5 minutes. The team can decide whether all members will speak or just one. A reminder bell will be rung at the end of the 5 minutes. After this, the judges will ask 1 question each. They are allowed to cross-question the presenter team members. Team B needs to follow the same format stated before. After that, judges' questions are answered. The moderator declares a break of 5 to 7 minutes where the judges decide to confer with the scores if required. Once the results are tabulated, the moderator invites the judges to say a few words on the performance of both teams and eventually declaring the results. Once that is done, the moderator closes the event by summing up the whole show. There will be 3 judges for each match, and they will be responsible for assessing the children on the parameters mentioned in the score sheet. So to have the better understanding, let's have a look at the judgment sheet. Here, Team A will be given marks on the first sheet and Team B will be given marks on the second part of the sheet as a responder sheet. So the initial presentation carries 15 marks under the 3 criteria. First, did the presentation clearly and systematically address the moderator's question, which will be holding 5 marks? Were the central ethical and moral dimensions of case clearly and thoroughly discussed, will also be holding 5 marks? Did the presentation indicate awareness and thoughtful consideration of different and conflicting viewpoints, will also be holding 5 marks. In total, which makes 15 marks. Then the another point would be having 10 marks and will be judged under the criteria of the presenter team's response to commentary of opposing team. The another point will be judged on the basis of the presenter team's response to judge's question, and which will be holding 20 marks. The last point would be judged for engaging in respectful dialogue and not as a combative debate, and this will be holding 5 marks. Then part 2 of the judgment sheet will be of 10 marks, where response team's commentary on opponent team's presentation would be judged. So kindly note, when Team A will present their case study, Team B will be the responder team and will be given marks on the second part of the judgment sheet. And same goes for the other team members. I hope I'm comprehensible to everyone and there is no confusion left in regards of the judgment sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. A jury is always a more orthodox defendant brought before. So ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us a panel of distinguished judges who will not only evaluate the performances, but also inspire us with their experience and their expertise. So let's take a moment to acknowledge their valuable accomplishments, contributions, and achievements. Now, allow me to introduce our distinguished panel of jury for today's match. To begin with, we have the honor to have with us a distinguished individual with a remarkable career in the Defense Forces, Major General Priti Singh. Sir has a notable accomplishments spanning various roles and responsibilities, including representing the Indian Army at the National War College, USA, and serving in diverse international missions. With Sir's extensive experience in education management and involvement in prestigious academic committees, his insights are invaluable to our event. We are honored to have you, sir, with us as a part of our jury member. Sir, would you please address the team?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be back again.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
And good to see some familiar faces in terms of the moderator and, of course, my fellow jury, Manvi is there. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. And more than anything else, these bright young children who are just bubbling with enthusiasm to take the challenge forward. I'm more than excited to be part of today's event, and I wish all participants all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead to our esteemed judge, Ms. Manvi Tripathi, ma'am. Presently, she is the principal of Lucknow International Public School. Ma'am considers educational institutes as nurseries of the future society. She believes in working upon children at their most impressionable ages. According to her, educational institutes influence formative years, instill confidence, mold and shape the personality of the child. Through the medium of education, she has endeavoring to make a positive contribution by ensuring that students are academically and morally sound individuals. Her efforts have been directed towards ensuring a holistic development of students and excellence in all the fields. So we are quite fortunate to have you, ma'am, as a distinguished member of jury. Would you please like to address the team?
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. And I wish all the luck to all the participants for today's competition. And may your knowledge, skills, and passion shine through. Try to think critically, creatively, and with, I must say, a little empathy. Your dedication to exploring complex issues is truly commendable. Already, I am saying because you have been on the task. So, best wishes for a successful and enriching experience. So, thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Next in the panel, our third judge, Mr. Anshu Kumar. A master of number of degrees and intellect. Sir is HVAC, technical and capacity building expert. Sir holds a global experience in UNICEF, UNEP, UNDP, UNIDO, GIZ, Proclima, Infras, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, and Directorate Technical Education and Industrial Training. We are honored to have you, sir, as a part of our jury panel. Would you please like to address the team, sir?
Thank you, ma'am. It's really an honor to be the part of this today's team. And I'm really happy to see when the intro round was going on that both the teams, they have made the gender balance. That's really lovable. And hope today's discussions will lead to the good things for both the teams to learn. We will also learn from the young generation where they are moving, what their thoughts are. And I wish a great success to both the teams, but never feel down if one team has to be out. So simple. Be brave and hope we'll have the good round over. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed judges for their willingness to share their expertise and insights with us today. Moving ahead, the selection process for the presenter and responder team will be determined through the digital chit system. The team will select the color of their choice and the case study will be revealed. The team with case study 7 will present the case study as presenter, and the second team will become the responder by default and get the remaining case study. Now, I request APS Old Can Prayagraj to choose the color of their choice so that we could break whether they are having the case study 7 or case study 8.
Ma'am, we choose color pink.
But you're not audible to me. Would you please be here?
Ma'am, we choose color pink.
Color pink?
Yes, ma'am.
So, APS Old Can Prayagraj has chosen color pink and has received case study 7, which makes them a presenter team. And APS Raiwala by default gets case study 8 and become the responder team. Hence, as per the choice made, again, APS Old Can Prayagraj will be the team A as presenter and has received case study 7, and APS Raiwala will be team B as responder. Now, I'm going to read the case study 7 for team A. The title of the case study is Farmer Protests and Corporate Interests. In 2020, the Indian government passed 3 agricultural laws aimed at liberalizing agricultural markets. The government argued that these laws would give farmers the freedom to sell their produce directly to private buyers, increasing their income. However, many farmers feared that the laws would dismantle the minimum support price and leave them vulnerable to exploitation by large corporations. The year-long protests saw farmers camped at Delhi's borders, facing extreme weather, police crackdowns, and political pressures. Despite multiple rounds of negotiation, the farmers stood firm, arguing that laws benefited corporate interests at the expense of small farmers. In November 2021, the government repealed the laws, marking a major victory for the protesters. The incident raised significant ethical questions about economic reforms, policy making, and the responsibility of government toward marginalized communities. So, the ethical dilemma here is, should the government prioritize making efficiency over the livelihoods of small farmers? And how can policymakers ensure that economic reforms are inclusive and fair? And with this, the ethical questions for you are, the first question is, should governments prioritize economic growth over traditional protections for vulnerable groups? And the second question goes, how can governments ensure that all stakeholders are heard in policy making? And is it ethical for business to benefit from policies that could harm small farmers? APS Old Can Prayagraj, I hope the case study is clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you have 8 minutes to present your case. The timer is going to reflect on the screen. And your time starts now.
Jai Hind, respected judges and my fellow participants. Today I'm here to talk about a crucial topic, farmers' protest in 2020. Because of the laws which were given by our government. What were these laws? Why it led to such protests? Let me tell you about these laws. In 2020, government launched 3 laws of agriculture, which says that they will modernize farming, make markets more efficient, and ultimately increase farmers' incomes by allowing them to sell their producers directly to private buyers and by passing traditional government controlled markets. However, a vast number of farmers, especially small and marginalized farmers, feared these laws would dismantle the existing minimum support MSP system, which was their safety net, protecting them from the market fluctuation. Without it, they believed they would left vulnerable. They felt that their livelihoods were being sacrificed for the profit of few large businessmen. Farmers protested against it. And finally, in 2021, after over a year of sustained protests, the Indian government repealed the controversial law.
As you have already delved into this important ethical question, now it's time to dive into an equally important ethical question. Should a government prioritize economical growth over traditional protection for vulnerable groups? The case study of 2020 agricultural laws and farmer protests provide a meaningful insight in this. In 2020, the government passed 3 agricultural laws, which they believed would help the farmers and increase their incomes. But to the farmers, it seemed that these benefits would only be short-lived. And in the long term, when they become more and more dependent on private firms and cooperation, the APMC and MSP systems will be dismantled. There was also the fear of loss of bargaining power, as they feared small farmers would not be able to negotiate with large firms and corporations. This led to a widespread protest in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh. These protests lasted a year long till the government repealed the laws. The situation here provides a clear ethical dilemma. Should a government prioritize economical growth even when it comes at the cost of taking away essential safety nets for a large and vulnerable group like small farmers? My answer is no. According to me, economical growth should be inclusive and should benefit everyone. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that vulnerable groups are benefited from economical growth. It is about growing together, not growing at the cost of someone else's livelihood.
Coming to the second ethical question, how can government ensure that all the stakeholders are heard? And is it ethical for businesses to benefit from policies that could harm small farmers? The Indian government's agricultural laws passed in 2020 were intended to liberalize agricultural markets. The government argued that these laws would give farmers more freedom and increase the income by allowing them to directly sell to private buyers. However, many farmers in states like Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, and Punjab, who form a significant part of the farming community, strongly feared that these laws would actually dismantle the MSP system. They believed they would become vulnerable to exploitation by larger corporations. So how can all these stakeholders be heard? In the case of protesting farmers, we all know that they were camping at Delhi's border for many months. Despite harsh weather conditions, multiple negotiations, and even police crackdowns, the farmers stood firm. This was their way of making their voice heard. Policymakers must engage in real, meaningful dialogues with the stakeholders, not just perfunctory discussions. Now, on to the second part. Is it ethical for businesses to benefit from policies that harm small farmers? From the perspective of a protesting farmer of Haryana or Punjab or Uttar Pradesh, the answer was a big no. Ultimately, to ensure inclusiveness and fair economic reforms, governments must prioritize robust consultation processes where the voices of small farmers and other vulnerable groups are not just heard, but they are genuinely considered and integrated into policy decisions. It is about creating a system where economy doesn't leave anyone behind and where businesses thrive responsibility, not at the expense of others.
Can a policy be called successful even if it leaves behind very people it claims to help? Should the government prioritize market efficiency over the livelihoods of small farmers? This ethical dilemma before us is a very complex one. On one side, while we rightfully fight for our farmers, let's not forget the backbone of agriculture market, the middlemen. Punjab alone has 27,000 licensed commission agents or arthas who acts as a vital middleman in the current system and are small business owners supporting their family through this work. If they are cut out of this picture, what will they do? Where will they go? Is, is it really efficiency or displacement is in facade of development? And this isn't the only concern. Beyond the fears of dismantling mandis, there lies an even greater fear of losing lands. Without strong legal protection or clear laws, if a dispute arises, a farmer cannot appear to civil court, and only the SDM, sub-divisional magistrate, is authorized to address the grievances. In the eyes of farmer, the land is not just soil, but the very essence of life. Very essence of life. So when faced with the threats to their land, right, and dignity, farmers didn't stay silent. Their message, जब तक खेती रहेगी, भारत रहेगा. जब तक किसान रहेगा, हिंदुस्तान रहेगा, was more than a slogan, but a plea for survival. A reminder that no policy, however efficient on paper, can be ethical if it endangers the very hands that feeds them. Thank you.
Well, Team A, APS Old Camp Prayagraj, well done. Your time is up now. Very well done. Your articulation was impressive and good factor support. Now Team B, APS Raiwala. You have 4 minutes to confer. Following that, you will present your comments and post a maximum of 2 questions to Team A. And then please post both the questions together. Your time starts now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, the stopwatch not visible on the screen.
Just wait a second. Let me just check whether there is a glitch or not. रुको ना, कुछ भी नहीं है. All right, children, is it still not visible to you all?
Ma'am, it is visible, but it is very small in size.
But could you see the timer?
Yes.
Could you see the timer?
Ma'am, the numbers are not visible.
All right. Team A, is the timer visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it is.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
APS Rayawala, you are only having 3.5 minutes now.
Is APS Raiwala responding? Because they seem to be muted. You can't hear anything.
Time is going on there for them. They'll be
Sorry?
responding after the time for confer is going on for APS Raiwala. They'll be replying after 2 minutes. Once the time is over for the conferring, they'll be commenting after this timer.
Okay.
They
Just one issue. I thought you could reiterate and give a little more emphasis on this. Let's see them speaking more spontaneously. They're only reading out, and that doesn't really give me this thing. So just I think you would reiterate that. We prefer them to look into the camera and talk to us rather than just read out a prepared script. I'm sure they're very familiar with what they have already prepared.
Actually, sir, they have to prepare their script on the basis of the presentation that has been given by Old Camp Prayagraj just now, and they have to prepare the commentary on the basis of their presentation.
That point is well taken. I'm referring to Old Kant. So that
Yes, sir, is absolutely right. Ma'am, sir is absolutely right, because in the previous competition also we mentioned that children were using the paper. They were actually reading out. So that is what he is referring to. Although it was announced by you that usage of paper is not allowed, but still it is happening. So we are referring to that.
In fact, I was already about to go to announce that again, but after once the timer is over. So I thought, like, let's not disturb them. Meanwhile, so.
Okay, you've already beaten us to that, huh?
All right, APS Raiwala, your time is up. And just to maintain the objectivity in the competition, refrain yourself using any paper or any of the content to look through, right? Right. So your time for posting the commentary starts now, and you'll be given 5 minutes.
The land may be silent, but the roots speak. A very warm good morning to the respected jury, honorable educators, fellow participants, and the esteemed audience. I, Vaishnavi Thakur from Class 11 Science, feel honored and humbled to represent APS Raiwala in this prestigious Northern Command Ethics Bowl competition 2025. Thank you for your presentation, APS Prayagraj. Such a well-structured and insightful case study. Your analysis was thorough and key points were clearly articulated. We especially appreciate the way you highlighted the chief concerns about the case study. It's evident that a lot of thought and effort went into your preparation, and we commend you for that. But you forget to mention some key points like the three farm laws of 2020 and how we can save our farmers from exploitation. Now we will like to ask two questions.
So our first question is, should a government give a guaranteed minimum price for all crops to farmers, even if it increases the government expenses and market freedom?
My second question is it right to allow big companies to do contract farming when most Indian farmers own very small piece of land and may not understand the legal agreements well? Thank you.
All right, APS Raiwala, you are still left with 3 minutes. If you want to utilize the time, or this is it from your side.
Repeat the question.
Is it?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Could they please repeat the questions?
All right, APS Raiwala, could you please briefly repeat your question?
Is should the government give a guaranteed minimum price for all the crops to the farmers, even if it increases government expenses and market freedom?
Is it clear?
Team A,
Yes. It is.
Volcan, the question is clear to you?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And the second question.
So my second question is it right to allow big companies to do contract farming when most Indian farmers own small piece of land and may not understand legal agreements well?
We are having a repeat of the same. Well, the commentary on the presentation made by Team A, all they've done is firstly they spent about 45 seconds just saying how well researched their commentary was, and after that they posed the questions. What about those 10 marks where they're supposed to earn?
APS Raiwala, is this the only thing that you had prepared for the commentary? Are you sufficed with your content that you have presented before us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So shall we move forward?
Yeah, I guess so. If they're saying they've got nothing else, but it's a repeat. They really have not made a commentary on what those people presented. So we are hard put. I'm sure Manvi, you will agree with me. We had this issue. We had this issue the other day.
Also, we
Or
were
Dr.
facing
Saab.
the same issue earlier also.
Yes.
So like, I think students still need to be clear about that if they have to use these 10 marks of theirs.
Yeah.
So the commentary has to be, well structured and given in the initial 45-50 seconds.
Absolutely.
So that's not happening. That did not happen earlier also. So there was a slight confusion earlier also regarding this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, sir. All right. Team A, have you understood both the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So there is an instruction again that refrain yourself using any sort of papers while presenting, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So maintain the objectivity, refrain yourself using any papers to present your content. Right. So you will be given 5 minutes. Sorry, you will be given 4 minutes to confirm. Your timer starts now. Team A, your time is up. I hope you are ready to post your answers.
Yes, ma'am.
You will be given 5 minutes for that. Take your time judiciously and wisely. And refrain yourself again using any paper. Right? All right, your time starts now.
Firstly, I would like to thank you for the questions. And I would like to answer your first question as you asked, should government give guaranteed MSPs? So I would like to answer that yes, we have chosen our government and it's their duty to help us whenever we are in need. Government duty is to protect the vulnerables and our farmers who are not having that much of land need to be protected.
I would like to continue on the speech that my co-speaker has just spoken. It is true that this is the moral duty of government to protect the vulnerable and large group of small farmers. By providing a standardized laws, by implementing standardized laws on big companies and firms, fixing their price of the crops they buy from the farmers, we can help ensure the livelihood and the right to work and the right to life of the farmers. I would also like to cite the example of France. In France, even when it comes at the expense of slower growth of other sectors, French government prioritizes its money and budget on agricultural growth, protecting its agricultural base. And look now how much France has developed. At the end, I would just like to say that by prioritizing these small farmers and laborers, we are only making our base much, much stronger. It is not about growing at the expense of one's livelihood. It's about growing together. As our Prime Minister, as our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji once said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
Coming to the answer of the second question. From the perspective of a farmer from Haryana, Gujarat, or from any corner of India, the answer is absolutely not. Real big companies, big corporations can often exploit small farmers. Why? Just because they are less educated. Why? Because they don't have knowledge about the technical terms and the banking related terms. Moreover, there is a high chance of imbalancing in the bargaining system. And even when we have MSPs, then why should we consider big corporations to impose their own personal and private prices on the crops which are grown by the hard work of the small farmers? Because ultimately, the farmers are the annadatas of our country, and we cannot leave them in despair.
As my friend has just explained on the question number second, I would like to continue that by creating communities of small farmers, we can help them reach these big corporations and they can have a better bargaining position, a better position for negotiation. These communities can help these farmers to grow together. I would also like to say that by implementing standardized laws, we can ensure that these companies do not exploit and manipulate these vulnerable groups of small farmers.
Adding on to that, if agriculture goes wrong, nothing will have a change to go right. Through market access and technical support, we can help smallholders access inputs like seeds, credit, and knowledge, assured price, and sales channels that they could otherwise struggle to help.
Allow us to mark our conclusion with the very famous words, जब तक खेती रहेगी तब तक भारत रहेगा, जब तक किसान रहेगा तब तक हिंदुस्तान रहेगा. Thank you.
Thank you, Team A. Wonderfully put. Now it is time for the judges to pose their questions. I would like to request our first judge, Major General Priti Singh Sir, to post his questions from Team A.
Yeah. Okay. So good. I think they made a good attempt to get back into the game and made some good comments on the questions that were posed to them. I would, however, want them to, dwell a little on this factor that were the laws that had been announced, proclaimed, were they truly exploitive, or was the narrative so shifted that they was seen as draconian laws, and they would exploit that marginalized? Are the farmers really marginalized? I mean, yeah, if you take it as individual, okay, but as you said, we are an agricultural based economy, and they do have a voice, but is it the correct voice? Do they have the right people who are really articulating their concerns? So I really feel that perhaps what was lacking in this whole process was the articulation by the government, their consultative process, and how they were able to take this forward. Maybe they weren't able to sell it. So I would like, a definitive thing on it. Do you think that they were really out to exploit those small farmers and only benefit the big players? Olcan, what's your view on that? Unmute. Unmute.
Team A, I hope you have understood the question.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You will be given 4 minutes to confirm, and your time starts now. Team A, your time is up now. Are you ready to answer the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Right. So you'll be giving 5 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Here
sir,
is the time for you, and your time starts now.
Thank you so much, sir, for your questions. And as you asked, the farmers are marginalized or not. So let me mention that in India, 75% to 85% people or farmers have less than 2% of land, hectares of land. And about 70% of farmers have less than 1 hectares of land. Overall, 0.5% of people are marginalized. So yes, they are marginalized.
Continuing on the speech of my co-speaker, I would like to say that saying the government intentionally wanted to exploit the farmers would be an overstatement. It was the narrative set by the people, by the opposing parties at that time that led to the protests. There was also the lack of negotiation teams in government, as they were not able to find a balance between the government laws and the farmer requests. During the time, our respected Arvind Kejriwal was the CM of MP of Delhi, was the CM of Delhi. He actively supported the farmer protests. He supported Bharat Bandh and wanted the complete road out of the three agricultural laws and the passing of a new agricultural laws which guaranteed MSP to each and every one of farmers. Since by then, only 6% of the total farmers were actually benefiting from the MSP. The whole MSP system needed to be improved. But what the government did was that they brought into play private firms and corporations to ensure the better income of farmers. But the narrative was set such as these MSP and APMC system would ultimately be dismantled, which led to the farmer protests.
But also to look from the farmer's point of view, many farmers feared that the private companies would offer attractive prices in the starting, luring them away from the APMC's mandi, and when the mandis eventually collapse, they will form a monopoly. The prices will not be negotiated and the monopoly will continue. What will start as freedom could end as exploitation.
I would now like to come to that part of the question where, sir, you asked that were these laws really there to exploit the farmers? So basically, the government would definitely not make any such laws that would not benefit the people, the citizens of the country. But what did go wrong? Basically, the government did not have a proper face for the negotiation or to sympathetically and empathetically talk to the farmers regarding these three laws. Moreover, there was a problem in execution. Like my previous speakers told about Bharat Bandh and all those hunger strikes. So we should let the farmers stay on their track. And I don't think so that they need any third dependence to be relied on. Thank you.
Team A, are you done with your answers?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, would you like to cross question?
Yeah, I think they've conferred well and come up with some articulate response to what I posed to them. So it does emerge that there were issues, and I think the government failed in really selling what they had evidently well researched, because this was in the pipeline for a long time. And as you said, I like that reference to the fact that the narrative was being set by other people. I think that's where we sort of lost out. What the bottom line, I think we just need to remember, and just to give you that perspective, is that ultimately it is the national interest, and we need to work at that. And if these laws were sort of propagating, furthering our own interests at a national level, I think they needed a more detailed introspection. Thank you, APS Oldcant. That was well tackled. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now it is time for our second judge to ask the question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So now you have thought over it. Now I would like you to think from the perspective that what can be the potential long-term consequences of the government's decision to repeal these laws, and what do you think how it will affect the future of the agricultural reforms in India? Did you get my question, or should I repeat it?
Yes, ma'am, please repeat it.
Like, how do you assess these potential long term consequences of the government's decision to repeal these laws? And what do you think, or how this might affect the future of agricultural reforms in India?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Just think about it.
Team A, the question is clear to you. Team A, APS Old Camp Prayagraj. The question is clear to you?
Yes.
All right. You'll be given 4 marks to confirm. 4 minutes to confirm. Come back with your preparation. Thank you. Your Team A, the time is up. Now you will be given 5 minutes to post your answers, and your time starts now.
Thank you, ma'am, for your truly ethical and thought-provoking question. I would like to answer by saying that the example of the government repealing the laws was a prime example of democracy responding to people's cries. I would like to say that in the future, when the government thinks of again reforming agriculture, they will do more ground surveys and hold consultation from farmer unions and corporations. According to me, these repeal had economical consequences such as the mandi system will still remain. The mandi system has its own tax. Around 850 crore is given as mandi tax in Haryana, and 1750 crore is given as mandi tax in Punjab. This leads to a high economical loss for those who are selling in mandis. Also, these farmers are restricted in the mandis. They cannot go anywhere else to sell their crops and gain a better income. I would like to say that these repeal stifles these things, the subjectives, the opportunities that the government wanted to create, the opportunities of better option for farmers, of better income for farmers. The MSP institutes incentivizes the growth of wheat and rice, but this leads to poor soil health and groundwater level and the decrease of groundwater level.
Now, coming to the future of agriculture, which appears very bright to me and very stable as well. Future reforms must be co-designed with the farmer unions, economy, and civil society. This could lead to not only a stable agricultural system, but also a sustainable India. Moreover, even if something goes wrong, then we must not forget that in the 1980s, in the decades of 1980s, MS Swaminathan came up with a green revolution in order to modernize agriculture. When things were falling apart, he came up in the front.
Ma'am, and to add on, repeal is not a defeat of government, but the victory of democracy. The law should be somewhat designed like that. The industries as well as the farmers can get good results of that. Not only the farmers are dealing with problems and industries are growing. The government work is to work in such a way that the overall development is done.
At the end, I would like to cite the example of China. In China, the agricultural reforms were slow and stayed back. This led to an economical growth, market efficiency, and did not displace small farmers. The government repealing the laws has led a stark difference. It has created a stark inequality and will create a stark difference between market efficiency, because now the farmers will be solely dependent on MSP rather than going on to sell their produce to private firms and corporations. Thank you.
Thank you. Team A, ma'am, would you like to pose question?
So, do you think that the long-term consequences of the government's decision to repeal the agricultural laws will likely include for a more cautious approach to the future reforms? Do you think?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Ma'am, the next time they will try to reform agricultural, they will do more ground surveys, they will hold consultation from farmers and their unions.
And like
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it is time for our third judge, Mr. Anshu Kumar, sir.
You.
Please post your question, sir.
Yes. It's really good discussions and good interventions are coming. Let me ask you a very straight question from Team A, that how we can strike a balance between the economic liberalization and protecting the rights of the small farmers in India. Hope you got my question.
Team A, hope the question has been clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So you will be
All the
given
best.
4 minutes. All the best. Your time starts now. Team A. Team A, time is up now. You'll be having 5 minutes to answer the questions, and your time starts now.
Thank you for the question, sir. I believe that if we want to strike a balance between economic liberalization and the farming community, the protection of farmers, then the two major parties that has to play the key roles are well-developed economic corporations and the farming communities themselves, because only they are the ones who can negotiate among themselves. And of course, the government laws are always there to support them. For example, how can farmers be protected? They can be empowered. We can apply well structured irrigation systems, increase rural accessibility, and whatnot. And government is already doing all these things. Plus globalization, which is ruling the world today. India is not behind there also.
Continuing on the co-speaker's speech, I would like to say that a balance between economical liberalization and protection of vulnerable groups such as small farmers can only be achieved if we empower these farmers by action and information. We need to digitalize information and teach the farmers information and give them information about the market prices and demands. This will help empower them and realize which crops they want to grow, what can help them achieve a better soil growth for their land, and what are the current demands in the market. There is also a need for a slow and gradual approach for agricultural reforms. For example, when we are providing farmers with the option for selling their crop, for selling their produce to private firms and corporation, we should also guarantee the price at which they sell it. This will ensure economical liberalization while protecting these farmers. I would like to cite the example of Brazil. They provide access to credit, low interest loans, and training of modern tools. These things allow their farmers to become more modernized and economically liberalize them and thus the whole country.
Adding on to that, we can set up inclusive platforms where farmers, especially from smallholder backgrounds, can contribute to the policy design and oversight. This can be achieved by giving more power to the Gram Panchayat. Also, to quote an example of the same, I would like to quote an example from the United States farm crisis in 1980s, where the government role was criticized for favoring market liberalization over supporting small farmers, after which they found an equal ground and heard the voices of both the concerned teams.
The MNCs and the larger corporations, which built the base of liberalization, they belong to the tertiary sector, whereas the farming community, they belong to the primary sector. And they both are independent on each other. So that's it. Jai Hind, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Thank you.
Very well put. Thank you, team A. Sir, would you like to cross question?
Yes, thank you very much for very elaborative and all detailed responses on the query. Taking further on this, what do you think? You talked about the reforms. Do you think that the large corporations should have a say in the agriculture policy reform? If yes, how ethical it is? Over from my side.
Team A, your answer?
They are supposed to have a say in the farming related activities, provided that they support the local farmers as well. Because like we cannot only impose anything on the farmers, the poor farmers of our nation. We also want them to understand what is being happened in the country.
I would also like to add that while these corporations should have a say in these policies, their needs, and their greeds should not be kept above the farmers, the most vulnerable and marginalized group in our country.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Over from my side.
Thank you, sir. With this, we are done with the turn of Team A. So let's have a break of 5 minutes and we shall be back with the turn of Team B. Welcome back, all the judges and the team members. Now it is the turn of Team B. I will read your case study. The title of your case study is Social Media, Misinformation and Political Influence. During recent Indian elections, social media platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter became hotbeds for political propaganda and fake news. False claims about political leaders, manipulated videos, and communal hate messages went viral, sometimes leading to real world violence. In response, the government introduced new IT rules requiring social media companies to track and remove misinformation. However, this led to concerns about government overreach, censorship, and potential suppression of free speech. On the other hand, social media companies argue that they provide a platform for open discussion, but critics say their algorithms amplify divisive content. The ethical debate revolves around the responsibility of tech companies, government control over digital spaces, and the balance between free speech and regulation. The ethical dilemma with this case study is, should social media companies be held accountable for misinformation, or does this risk censorship and government control over public discourse? And the ethical questions are as follows. Question number 1. Should social media companies be held accountable for misinformation, and where should the line be drawn between free speech and regulation? Should governments regulate social media, or should users take responsibility for verifying content? Is your second question. So Team B, I hope you are ready with your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
You will be given 8 minutes to give your presentation. Follow the format correctly. And here, your time starts now.
The truth does not change according to your ability to digest it. Good morning, respected members of jury, dignitaries, teachers, and my fellow mate. I am Srishti Gupta, head girl of APS Raiwala, and more importantly, a young citizen trying to make sense of world I have inherited. A world where headlines arrive faster than facts. A world where trending hashtags often replace tested truth, and where what we believe is too often shaped not by insight but by influence. Today, I present before you not just a case study, but a concern that personally unsettles me. The ethical dilemma posed by misinformation on social media and its impact on political decision making. Misinformation is not just a lie. It's a weapon that shapes opinion, divides community, and weakens democracy. We live in an era where every single individual is a publisher, and every forward carries a potential to inform or to mislead. The question we ask today is not whether misinformation exists or not. We all know it does. The question is how far it has invaded our politics, our choices, and our trust. In 2018, multiple mob lynchings in India, from Maharashtra to Karnataka, when triggered by false messages about child kidnappers circulated on WhatsApp. No news confirmation, no verification, just forwards. By the time truth surfaced, the lives had been lost. This wasn't politics, but it has deeply political because it shaped public fear and force the government to act on. And then comes the election cycle. During election, whether it is Lok Sabha election or state assembly elections, social media becomes a battleground. Fake videos, mobbed speeches, edited images, and false surveys begin to circulate. All this is done not by unknown people, but by organized IT cells, often backed by deep political interests. Yes, social media has empowered us. It gives voices to voiceless, challenges injustice, and promotes political awareness. But at what cost? When that voices is influenced by manipulative narratives, the very fabric of democracy begins to fray. Now, when government stepped in and demanded that platform take down fake contents and trace the origin of messages, there is a backlash. And rightly so, because here lies the ethical dilemma. Can regulation ensure safety without silencing the truth? Can freedom survive in such a place where even facts can be faked? As student and citizen, we must ask, where do we draw the line? Where? And more importantly, who draws it?
With a heart full of gratitude and mind eager to reflect further, I extend my warm wishes to respected judges. It's both joy and privilege that we step into this and continue to unfold the layers of this thought-provoking topic. Let's pause and look into this issue not through a legal lens, but a human one. Imagine you're scrolling on Instagram. A political reel shows a speech. It's aggressive, emotional, and has thousands of shares. But that's only later you realize that the video was edited just to remove the actual context. That one post could influence you how you think, how you vote, or how you treat someone from another group. Is the platform responsible? Partially, yes. Is the person who made it responsible? Of course. But what about those thousands of people who shared without thinking twice? This is not just a tech problem. It's an ethical crisis of awareness. With great reach comes greater responsibilities, especially at the age of algorithms. So, what we do? We believe that answer lies in balance. Neither blind censorship or free-for-all chaos. Here are practical, ethical steps, many already tested around the world with promising results. Independent oversight, not political control. Germany's Network Enforcement Act requires platforms to remove hate speech and misinformation within 24 hours under independent judicial oversight, transparency report, and user alerts. Government themselves have stepped in, though the balance between regulation and free speech remains delicate. India's Information Technology Rules 2021. United States congressional hearings and because every forward isn't just a data, it's a vote, a belief, a ripple of public thinking. I would like to conclude with a simple thought. Democracy doesn't die with a gun. It dies slowly with the lies shared as truth and silence in the face of deceit. Solution lies in awareness, responsibilities, and empathy. In the world of viral speed, let's choose verified truth over impulsive reaction. Let's become not just informed, but ethically alert citizens. Thank you.
Team B, APS Raiwala, are you done with your presentation? You're still left with 1.5 minutes.
Yes, ma'am, we are done with our presentation.
Let's stop your timer. Right. So timer stops here. Now it is a time for Team A to take 4 minutes to prepare their commentary. Before taking the time, it is my humble request to both the teams to kindly follow the format and prepare the commentary as per the format given, right? And then post your commentary following 2 questions based on the presentation. Post your questions together and you will be given 4 minutes to confirm. We shall be back after 4 minutes. Your time starts now. ठीक है? Team A, your time is up. I hope you are well ready with your commentary and your answers. Refrain
Yes,
yourself
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
using any paper while presentation, right? All right. You'll be given 5 minutes to give your presentation, and your time starts now.
Thank you to the presenting team for conferring such a timely and well presented presentation on the ethical dilemma of social media platforms and political influence. This ethical dilemma cuts through many contemporary concerns, such as the integrity and the legitimacy of democratic elections and the responsibility of social media platforms and digital spheres in controlling the flow of information. Your team did well in tackling these multifaceted issues. But I would also like to add that your concerns in your speech were mostly surface level, and a deeper dive in ethical dilemma could have ensured a better conclusion and a more principle based recommendation. I would like to commend you on the use of the example of Germany as a nation who has passed a law against disinformation and has done pretty well on it. I would also like to add the example of Taiwan to your speech to make it more effective and meaningful. In Taiwan, there is a quote I would like to quote: humor over humor. The government identifies any form of misinformation within 24 hours and tackles it using memes. These fake and viral videos are tackled using memes so that people can understand that these videos are not to be spread. Thank you.
While your presentation fairly touched every aspect, I would like to highlight the positive aspects of social media with some examples like the Justice for Manipur movement, which, when national media was slow to respond, it was this very social media that helped the case to get into the limelight. And global examples like Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, and the Arab Springs should have also been included in your presentation.
So my first question.
After hearing your case study and your presentation, I was looking for some recent examples in it, which I could not find. They say a burnt child dreads the fire, but the child, in this case, the social media, seems to be very stubborn. In the resignation letter written to Madam Draupadi Murmu by the ex-Vice President of India, Sir Jagdeep Dhankar, he clearly stated that he was resigning due to health concerns. But even after that, people on social media are posting their own interpretations of why he resigned in order to create a political havoc. Now, it's time for the questions.
My question number one to you is: can the pursuit of national security and public order justify the curbing digital freedom? Or does such control risk the undermining of very foundation of democracy?
My second question for you is it ethically defensible for social media algorithm to prioritize engagement even when it implies polarizing political content?
Thank you.
Sorry, your questions were not audible. Can you please repeat?
Okay. My first question was: can the pursuit of national security and public order justify curbing digital freedom? Or does such control risk undermining the very foundation of democracy?
And the second question is it ethically defensible for social media algorithm to prioritize engagement even when it amplifies polarizing social political content?
Thank you.
Right. Team B. I hope the questions are clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. You will be given 4 minutes to confer. And your time starts now. Team B, the time is up. I hope you are ready to post your answers. You will be given 5 minutes to answer the questions, and your time starts now.
Thank you so much, Team A, for your question. I've already mentioned clearly that the Germany's Network Enforcement Act in my speech.
The answer to your first question is freedom is the open window through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity. Yes, the pursuit of the national security and ethically justify culturing digital freedom to an extent. Because when unchecked digital platforms can become breeding grounds for hate, radicalization, and organized terrorism, as seen in the 2019 Sri Lankan Easter bombing, where attackers were influenced through encrypted chats and online propaganda. It should not come at the cost of innocent lives. No. Our national peace is in democracy, responsible restriction protect the greater good. Without silence, genuine voices, hence safeguarding the nation's ethically overweights unrestricted digital liberty when the stakes are life and peace.
With great power comes the great responsibility. Social media platform have empowered citizens with a voice, but freedom must be used with caution and conscience. Article 19(1)(a) of Indian Constitution guarantee freedom of speech and expression, but it has no absolute. Article 19(2) imposes reasonable restriction in the interest of public order, morality, and the sovereignty and integrity of India. The misuse of freedom, especially for spreading fake news, hate speech, or political propaganda, has led to real world consequences. Be it in 2020 Delhi riot or misinformation during election. When unchecked, such acts can damage the democratic fabric of nation. Thus, every user must treat their post as public expression of thought and take full responsibility in ensuring they inform, not inflame. In democracy, freedom of speech is a right, but using it wisely is a duty.
The answer to your second question is the greater threat, the truth is not the lie, but the myth, the emotion is equally fact. This thought echoes deeply into today's digital age. Respected judges, the question before us isn't whether algorithms are effective, but whether they are ethical when their only compass is engagement. Social media platforms defend their algorithm by claiming they simply reflect user behavior. They argue that people choose what they like and the system follows it. This idea supports freedom of choices and innovation, two important ethical principles. For a utilization view, maximizing engagement may be seen as maximizing user satisfactions, but ethics isn't just outcomes. It's about who get harmed in the process. Platforms are no longer just neutral bulletin boards. Their algorithm shapes the billion see, feel and believe the take the real world of example of Facebook. Internal searches revealing the Instagram was toxic to teenage girls. Yet nothing changed. When engagement becomes the goal, the algorithm favors outrage, sensationalization, and division because they triggers strong reactions. And in doing so, it creates echo chamber, radicalization, widespread of misinformation, undermining democracy, public trusts, and even mental health. The harm by the principle of John Stuart Mill remind us liberty ends where harm begins. If these algorithm amplifies content that damages public discourse, they are ethically indefensible. Thank you.
Team B, would you like to still speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Continue.
We shape our tools and thereafter our tool escape us. Algorithms. Thank you.
Your time is up now. Now it is the time for the judges. I request our first judge in the panel, respected Major General Priti Singh sir, to please post his question.
Well, a good presentation and I would say a good exchange of views between the two teams. But now I'll address Team B specifically. It is a moral and ethical dilemma, how you set the balance between these two conflicting requirements of individual freedom and national interest. So I'll start where I finished in the previous question. I'm sure you would all agree that national interests override everything else. And wherever it is in conflict with, I would say, even an individual right, which people are so conscious about today, that's the dilemma as to which way you would swing. But you will agree with me that despite being well informed, well aware, individual points of view can be directed towards a divisive sort of end game. We saw that in some good examples were taken out, referring to Germany and various other such issues. Let's take the Hindenburg. You saw how the whole system was manipulated to build a certain narrative. Now that gets us thinking whether we should allow for this. Is this supposed individual freedom so important and so overriding that even national interests can be subjugated and sort of held ransom? So I'd like you to take a stand on this and tell me, would you go with these vested interests where narratives are being built, whether it's during elections or any other such event? And we're seeing it on an everyday basis if you're just watching the news and aware of what is all is happening. Would you still go with this aspect of individual freedom, thought process at the cost of national interest? TB.
Team B, have you understood the question clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So to confer, you will be given 4 minutes and your time starts now. Team B, the time is up. And to post your answers, you are given 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Thank you so much, sir, for your question. And the answer for your question is freedom is not the absence of restraint, but the presence of justice. While individual freedom is cornerstone of democracy, it must not become a weapon against the very nation that protects it. In India, we have seen how social media, under the gaze of freedom of speech, has been misused the spread of misinformation, it being during a farmer protest or in times of communal tension.
Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. These words remind us that moments of ethical conflict, national integrity must come before individual preference. In context of this case study, where social media algorithms amplify, especially during election, the cost of prioritizing individual engagement and freedom of expression becomes dangerously high. When elections are influenced by viral misinformation and people are nudged towards extreme ideologies, we risk undermining the very pillars of a democracy. At that point, protecting individual algorithm engagement becomes secondary to preserving the national coherence and truth.
As nations comes what may be, no freedom of the kind can be, should be beyond our nation. National interest isn't the enemy of freedom. It's the foundation that allows it to exist safely. Hence, in times of conflict, national interest must ethically and lawfully take procedure over the unchecked individual liberty. Thank you.
Yes, freedom is important, but freedom without responsibility can be a threat to a nation itself. If social media platforms allow individuals to spread harmful narratives in the name of freedom and justify it as engagement, that national unity, fair election and social peace all suffer. In such moment, standing with a nation is not censorship, it is ethical duty. Algorithm must be regulated, not to silent, but to protect. In the long run, when healthy nation ensure individual freedom, but the reverse is not always true. Thank you.
Team B, are you done with your articulation?
Yes, ma'am.
We are still left with 1.5 minutes. All right. Then I'm going to stop the timer. So would you please like to pose question?
Yeah, I think they were going rather well. I don't know why they stopped so soon. They could have taken this further. I think it was a good response in the sense that though it may have conformed to what I was articulating as my point of view. But yes, I think the general idea was well conveyed, suitably articulated. But I think they could have, dwelt upon it with greater length, given that they had the time and the correct thought process. And I do feel, yes, that national interest comes over and above everything, and especially with the type of environment we are living in and what we're seeing on a daily basis. So good. I'm glad that it exercised your minds and you gave out your points of view. Thank you.
Sir? Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So we have more to add.
Well, you're more than welcome. In fact, I'm waiting for more.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
In a democracy like India, Article 19(1)(a) of Constitution guarantees freedom of speech and expression. But this right is not absolute. It is subject to reasonable restriction under Article 19(2). In interest of national security, public order, yes, there have been instances like during 2020 Delhi riot or spread of misinformation during pandemic where curbing certain speech was necessary to maintain national interest. Yet, freedom of individuality doesn't mean one speak recklessly. It means voicing opinions responsibly, staying informed and using platform to build rather than break. Citizen can uphold individuality by engaging in peaceful discourse, using fact-based reasoning and respecting the diverse of thought. Thank you.
Right, Team B, the time is up. So would you like to cross question again?
No, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now it is the time for our second judge, Miss Madhvi, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So now I would like to ask you something on these social media companies. Basically, how do you think these companies can effectively self-regulate to address this spread of misinformation? What can be the procedure, or what can be the rules, regulations, or the protocol that they can lay down for regulating misinformation? And to add on to this, I would also like a part to be there that what can we do to increase media literacy among the people to counter misinformation? So there are two parts in the same question. Number one, these social media companies, how they can self-regulate to address the misinformation. And number two, that how we all can work together, maybe the government also, that media literacy among public to counter this misinformation. So what is your say on this? I hope the question is clear to you.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Right, Team B, the timer is going to be start for conferring. 4 minutes to be given to you, and your time starts now. Team B, the time is up. Now it is a time to give your answers. You will be given 5 minutes and your time starts now.
The truth does not mind being questioned. A lie does. Social media companies like Ocean Media must take active responsibility for the content on their platform, not just wait for laws to push them. They can self regulate by building strong AI tools to flag fake news, setting up real time fact checking team, labeling unverified content, and banning repeat offenders, whether they are using or paid advertisers. With great power comes the greater responsibility. And now here is this truth then in the digital age. Social media companies can self-regulate misinformation by establishing content verification protocols like AI-powered fact-checking, third-party fact-checker collaboration, and clear labeling of manipulated or unverified content. They must they must promote transparency in algorithm penalty. They should pen to boost media literacy, especially among youth and rural population. The government can integrate digital literacy into school curriculum, launch awareness campaigns in regional languages, and collaboration with NGOs, tech firms, and educators. When social media platforms are the state work together and informed citizens can become the stronger defense against the virus is misinformation.
The answer for your second question is government and NGO can run awareness campaign on TV, radio, see social media in local language. During election in India, Election Commission ran out saying think before you share. Platform like WhatsApp and Facebook should add easy feel to prevent misinformation.
Our Government of India and CBC Board has been conducting several webinars and seminars on digital literacy. In conclusion, social media companies must act faster, more transparently, government must ensure ethical laws, and most importantly, citizens must be trained to recognize fake news before they click share, as the saying goes. A lie can travel halfway around the world before the truth has its shows on. But the right system, truth can catch up and overtake. Thank you.
School should teach students now to spot fake news like checking resources and verifying facts. Example, Finland does this as well and now one of the most media literate country.
Thank you. That's all we have.
All right. You are still left with 1 minute 20 seconds. I'm going to stop your timer. Ma'am, would you like to cross question?
I think they have enough time in hand if they would like to proceed.
Team B, would you like to add some content? It is not the time for conferring. It is the time for answering the question.
Yes, ma'am, we would like to.
I'm going to start your timer again.
So,
you can carry on.
companies like Meta, YouTube, and X have created internal policies and tools to identify limit the spread of false information. For instance, Meta partners with third-party fact check is over 60 countries, including India, to review viral posts, If a post is rated false, it labels deranked in algorithm and the user is notified. Similarly, YouTube has changed its recommendation system to reduce visibility of conspiracy content. During COVID-19 pandemic, it removed over 1 million videos containing false medical advices. Twitter introduced a feature called Birdwatch, where user could add notes to misleading tweets. And in India, it's now shows community-based fact checks on viral posts. But despite these measures, the truth is self-regulation has limits. Thank you.
Maybe the time is up. Ma'am, would you like to cross question?
I just want to ask you one thing. We all know that around in India, around 27.3% is the youth population of India. And as schools, we have a lot of responsibility. You mentioned a point that schools should also educate. Now, how far do you justify that the schools are doing their bit despite the youth falling into the trap of this social media and the misinformation spread by it? So what more can the school do uh, to help these children to handle this misinformation?
Ma'am, the schools are doing good in this such cases. It's the fault of students that they are not verifying accounts before forwarding any information.
What more can schools do for these children? What more as schools do you think we should do and take care and educate our students about? Any more suggestions from your end as a youth?
Online seminars, counseling sessions, and more like that.
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, Team B. Thank you, ma'am. It is the time for our third judge, Dr. Anshu Kumar sir. Would you please ask your question from Team B?
Thank you. Good questions are already there, so a lot of coverage that they have done, the young team. I'll ask a question which is already in their assignment, but looks very simple but little bit complex. I will like to ask is, in your opinion, who should bear the primary responsibility by curbing misinformation on social media, companies, or the government or the individual? Give proper reasoning on the accountability. Thank you.
Right. Team B. Team B, have you understood the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you, sir, for asking the question. Team B, you will be given 4 minutes to confirm, and your time starts now. Team B, your time is up. You may come up with your answers. You will be given 5 minutes to answer the questions, and your time starts now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your thank you so much, sir, for your question. Individual itself take the utmost responsibility of copying information spread through social media, self-regulation, self-control, and decent character. A mature mind, a blend of all this can help any individual from the misleading information and the consequences posed by it. As we mentioned in our previous answers, that the schools are conducting counseling sessions to guide children and parents on cyber security. Teachers during their regular classes are teaching us the consequences of being on social media or and to take safety measures to safeguard ourselves. It's the individual's soul's responsibility because social media platforms are earning their money and influencers are earning their own money.
While individuals and government both have to play roles, the primary responsibility of misinformation on social media lies with the companies themselves. This is because of the three main reasons: control, capacity, and caution. For example, Facebook internal research revealed that the algorithm promoted divisive content because it triggered more engagement, but the company denied fixing it. Social media companies design and control the algorithms that decide which posts are seen, shared, or promoted. These algorithms often prioritize content that get more clicks, likes, or comments, which usually includes emotional, extreme, or false information. Social media companies have the most advanced tools, data, and financial resources to detect, flag, and remove misinformation quickly and accurately. Example: YouTube used AI to reduce videos in the US, but didn't roll it equally in other countries. This shows that they could act, but selectively did so. Social media companies directly profit from the management, including that which comes from fake or harmful content. If a business from harm, it carries primary moral responsibilities for preventing the harm.
We shape our tools and thereafter our tools shape us. This quote captures the essence of today's dilemma. Algorithms are not just passive codes, they are active, shaped of society. Ethically speaking, the core of issue lies in informed consent. Most users are unaware that what they are seeing is engineered for emotional reaction, not balance. This hidden manipulation violates the principle of an autonomy. If I don't even know I'm being nugged towards extremists, can I truly call my opinion my own?
While individuals and government both play significant role in the fight against misinformation, the primary responsibilities lies with social media companies. This is because they hold the greatest control over what content circulates. We have the highest capacity to prevent them and directly benefit from the spread of such content. First, these companies design and operate the algorithms that decide what billions of people see every day. These algorithms are not neutral. They are initially designed to prioritize content that generates more engagement, which often includes emotionally charged, sensational, or false information. A well known MIT study confirmed that fake news spread much faster than the verified information, largely because it captures attention. Therefore, the companies that build and maintain these systems directly shaping flow information must be held accountable for these consequences. Thank you.
Thank you, Team B. Sir, would you like to first question?
No further question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, teams. So that was quite a thought-provoking discussion. Now we will take 15 minutes break for the compilation of results. Before we go on a 15-minute break, I request all our esteemed judges to send the result on the WhatsApp number provided, which is 7006 505783. Till then, have a good time. We shall be joining again after 15 minutes for the eagerly awaited results. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Posted in the chat box. This is for the judges, respected judges. The number has already been posted on the chat group. Welcome back to all the teams and judges. Thank you all for your patience. Before we announce the results, I want to take a moment to appreciate the hard work of all the teams. And now, the moment we all had been waiting for. It is the time to reveal the results. So without further ado, let's find out which team will proceed to the semi-final round. The score of APS Raiwala is 126 and APS Old Camp Prayagraj has scored 145.25 marks. So it is prominent from the scores only that APS Old Camp Prayagraj won the match. APS Raiwala, do not lose your heart. What that matters is your presentation and participation. Many congratulations to the winning team. Looking forward to see you in the semi-finals. I want to express my gratitude to our esteemed judges for graciously dedicating their time from their hectic schedule to be the part of this show. I request the jury members to please share your insights for today's event. I start with our
I guess
first
I go first since that was the sequence.
Sir, you are not audible. Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
I am? Okay, great. I guess I go first since that was the sequence you had laid out for us. As you said, winning and losing is part of is par for the course. And to the credit of APS Raiwala, firstly, I'm very glad that even Raiwala formed part of this. Some good memories of that place. Even though I think they started a little slow, they rebounded well. I must say that for their credit. And since the principal APS Raiwala is also in the loop, as I noticed, though not on screen, I could perhaps share a little bit of my experience and advice for the future. Like I said, the students need to be more engaging. They need to address the jury, talk to us, rather than just read out from prepared texts which are obviously being given to them. And it was more than obvious because the students were having a tough time even reading what was given to them. So obviously it was not the type of effort that we were looking for. But the students themselves very enthusiastic, very engaged, and I must compliment all those young minds who took part so wholeheartedly. Just an observation: they got whoever was providing all the inputs got stuck on algorithms. They used it all of 54 times during the course of this event. So I really don't know whether that was so very relevant, but a great effort, APS Raiwala. I think you deserve all credit for just being participative and making a valiant effort. Like I said, you started slow, but you ended well. Old Cant, good job. I think you guys were well prepared, and you had your finger on the pulse, and you really kept up with the pace of what was going on. And so, good luck to you. You go on to a bigger stage now. Of course, Dr. Saab, so good to see you. Wonderful to have you as a colleague on this very, unique initiative. And of course, Mrs. Tripathi, who's now become a veteran like me, coming on for the second time. So good to have had you, and your own thoughts and questions gave me a better insight. Thank you for that. And last but not the least, our esteemed coordinator. You always have a tough time. Last time it was technical glitches, but this time you handled it very well. I must say you're becoming very seasoned on this. And last but not the least, a word for the coordinator, Sangeeta, who's generally behind the scenes. Great job she's done too, keeping us all on tenterhooks, but all in line, whether it was the judges or the students and what have you, giving us background information. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I've really enjoyed myself. I come away better informed and educated, and look forward to seeing how these young minds go forth and conquer the world. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. May I? Sir, I am Captain Diksha Sharma. I am Principal APS Raiwala. So thank you so much for your wonderful suggestions, and we are going to keep that in mind. And next time, definitely, we are going to perform much better, sir.
So
thank
good.
You so much.
The spirit in which you've taken it, I'm so glad. And this is what makes for a good engagement.
Exactly.
And like
thank
I
you,
said,
sir. Your suggestions are really, really wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Ever I come to that side, I'll come and visit your school, definitely.
Sir, please do come, sir. You just mentioned you are closely associated with Raiwala, so I'm just wondering.
Well, I spent a lot of time. You see, I studied in Dehradun. So Raiwala was within my ambit, and I have wonderful memories of that place. I'm sure it's grown since those years. But great job you're doing. These young kids really sort of, warmed my heart.
Thank you so much, sir. So please do come over and visit our school, sir. We'll be privileged to have you here, sir.
I'll do that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights and words of appreciation. I'm honored. School is honored. Now it is a time for our second judge, Ms. Manvi Tripathi, ma'am. Ma'am, please share your insights.
See, thank you so much. First of all, congratulations to both the teams. APS Raibala, I must comment, especially Vaishnavi, you were good. Sumit, Shrishti, Shanvi, Rohit, Aryan, I remember all the names because I jotted down. And from APS Prayagraj, of course, Shashwat, Abhinav, Shloka, Yushika, Shikha, and Slesha. All of you were wonderful. What you missed on was one thing, that you were not very well prepared for the commentary. So both the days we witnessed this glitch in the part of commentary. They could have taken it because that was the part where they scored better of what I think is as far as things are concerned. And then, yes, as sir has already said, so I would not like to repeat it, that use of paper and all these things. And I would request that next time we also have a space for judges' comment or recommendations in this judging sheet, so that we can put down something which can be read and used later on. But they were wonderful. I know that these ethical dilemmas always give us a lot of complexity of making tough decisions in challenging situations, but this is a well drafted and well presented competition. And we must all remember that ethics is not about rules, but also about empathy, compassion, and doing what's right. So I commend all the participants because you thought critically. I could see your creativity, your passion for ethics when you were doing, and you formulated some of the answers, although you were prepared, but you were not prepared for our line of questions. So you had to, prepare yourselves. So your discussion has shed light on the intricacies of each case, and we are grateful for whatever insights you gave. But then when we wrap up this competition, I'll be more than happy if you take it up as whatever lessons you have learned throughout the competitions and try to apply them to the real world scenarios, because you have done a lot of brainstorming and you are the young generation who is going to lead further. So think on them, be thoughtful, be more informed, and be and act as responsible decision makers, considering the impact of your choices as individuals on society. So this is what Ethic Bowls is all about, because we want you to be assets to the nation, not liabilities. So please take that thing in mind. And this, I appreciate the whole team who has this concept and design of Ethic Bowls. I truly appreciate. And thank you, Sangeeta ma'am, once again for bringing us all together on the platform. Thank you to the moderator who did it so well. Both the teams, congratulations. You were all very good. I don't feel that, yes, because it's the part of competition, one wins and the other loses. And we have to follow the rules and regulations. We are bound to do that. But then both of you were good. And congratulations to both the school principals also and the teachers who have worked really hard. But yes, as sir said, I think he summed up all the things and collected all the points together. So it's good to be with. Thank you, Dr. Anshu Kumar. Thank you, Priti sir, for being the co-judge. And I need to seek your blessings, in fact. So thank you, and all the best to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Your suggestions have been well taken in. Well, now it is the time for our third judge, Dr. Anshu Kumar, sir. Would you please, sir, share your words?
Thank you very much. Dear teams, I'll take a moment to appreciate your hard work and real dedication and spirit that both the teams have brought to this effort. Really appreciable. No matter the outcome, don't worry about it. Each one of you have demonstrated good teamwork, creativity, resilience. These are the real quality that defines true success. But only as earlier it is mentioned that you need to do practice. You are a good team, but in a team when you do practice, the outcome is really, really great. And remember both the teams, every challenge is an opportunity to grow, particularly for team that is now the challenge, but turn their challenge into opportunity to grow further. And every step forwards for Prayagraj will add to their journey for tomorrow or the after when the system will allow you. Keep believing in yourselves and supporting each other. Don't go in silo. Believe on each other, support each other. And I'm really proud of the energy and commitment both the teams they have shown. I always love because of certain earlier times I was going to teach the IRS officers on environmental issues in Nasan Faridabad. But really I'm happy that again some part has come to interact with students and learn so many things, their thoughts, their... I'll not take long time, but I wish you all the best. Keep it up. Keep up the great work. And I'm really thankful to moderator, judges, and students once again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Now it is a time for our coordinator of the event to share her vote of thanks. I would like to call Sangeeta Verma.
Warm greetings of the day, respected jury members. I, Sangeeta Verma, the coordinator of the event, would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each jury member on behalf of the organizing team and APS Nagrota. Major General Prithvi Singh, sir, your gracious presence, valuable time, and insightful judgment have added immense value to this event. Your dedication to nurture young minds truly is commendable. I am really glad, sir, you joined us, and I would also like to have you in future with us. Miss Mandvi Tripathi, ma'am, we deeply appreciate your support, fairness, and encouragement to the children that you have provided in between the event. And I have seen that you have truly inspired the team with your words. We are really grateful to have you, ma'am, in the panel. Thank you so much, ma'am. Mr. Anshu Kumar, sir, your thoughtful questions, unbiased evaluation not only motivated students, but also gave them the opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow. It is the contribution of the jury members that has helped to elevate the standard and spirit of this event. Once again, I present my heartfelt thankful to all the jury members, the teams, the principals, and the supporting teachers, those who are behind this event. And it is just because of you people that we are able to make this event a meaningful and memorable experience for all of us. Thank you so much.
With this, our day 2 event of quarterfinals 1 of Group B comes to a close. Thank you all for your grace presence. See you again in the next match. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.